jump on board, share it. You understand why it's, important to share. Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gents. Early morning, late afternoon, either. Give and take. Welcome. It's Proclamation News and Governance. It's Sunday Fun Day. I like to call it Sunday Fun Day. It's a holy day, isn't it? Sunday Fun Day. Holy day. A lot of people doing their church study, their Bible study, their religion. Methodical madness. What's my methodical madness? Methodical madness is giving something important to incorporate with the audience. I've had some great cast guys, people coming through, people supporting me, people giving me acknowledgement and encouragement. I had a guy from Pakistan or Iran. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where people are because, like I say, I'm like an open Bible to all ethnicities, all multiculturalism. Ethos is the word, ladies and gents. I would appreciate everyone. If you've got good value and a nice person, your friend, the Proclamation News and Governance. Despite people think politics can cause a disagreement between nations and cultures. No, it's just it's keeping population down. We've got to look at a brighter picture, guys, because people can go well out of society and tackle society and take it out on one another. Um, you can go with the EU or go with solid Brexit, and going with solid Brexit, is that discriminating others? No, we're trying to maintain Britain. That's all it is. It's nothing it's nothing irrational towards any other parties. It's all about tax. It's all about tax and evasion. Anyway, let's moving on. Like I said, I had a great guy from Iran and Pakistan. He's helped me get more followers, more subscribers, building a bigger, better platform so I can multiply people who are actually coming together. I just want to. I had James O'Brien done a cast. I don't know if it's today or yesterday. I might have missed it, but I see a post. But I added my own little. I always write my own little stories to what I read. James O'Brien Priti Patel was, he had her on the office over the phone. Officers, workers should absolutely be tested for cocaine. Caller tells James O'Brien. I pointed out something because I'm totally against alcohol and narcotics. I'm, partially not well because of secondary Raynaud's disease. So if my doctor said if I drink, it would kill me. I said this 2 years ago. I gave up drinking 4 years ago. I haven't had a sip of alcohol. So the cocaine abuse to people who work in offices, such as young and vulnerable occupants. I mean, you get drug dealers, don't you? You get many drug dealers. Drug dealers, if that's the way you got to survive, if that's your only source of income, the only way you can think of making money, you've got nothing else. You've got no initiative to go and find a responsible job to put the money, not the money, food on the table for your children. You're going to bring your children up for a hostile environment, aren't you? Would you find it responsible to give such naive people such substances which could warrant a death? I mean, vulnerable people, I'm vulnerable. I'm a 98 father, so that's vulnerable. So not only my lack of blood circulation. I mean, this message needs to get out to a lot of people. They really need to think about who they're selling their goods to. You make them addicted. You're going to make them further ill. If they're already ill, you can make them further ill, then later death. For me, selling narcotics to anyone, how do you know how much? I don't know, say cocaine, for instance. How do you know how much Cuban cocaine is in that parcel that you just picked up? How do you know it's not going to give them a heart attack? How do you know that's not going to ruin their life for the rest of their life? Make their, I don't know, say they've got speech impediment. How do you know that it's not going to make that impairment even worse? Suicidal drug, isn't it? If you overdose, absolutely. How do you know how much you bought? You don't care. You're filling up your pocket. You're filling up your bank balance to buy your next, I don't know, BMW or whatever whatever you're trying to get out of life. One thing, don't deal with narcotics. Secondly, if you know nothing else but no other, do not be part of victimizing the vulnerable people. This is my message, I'm not trying to say, well, if I might, I'll be totally honest. I'm not going to hide, behind closed doors because I'm going to be totally honest and upfront. I've done a lot in this world. I've done a lot to this society. I've stood up for vulnerable people in the boxing ring and took blows to the head, when I was partially brain damaged anyway. I will stand up and, say my right against drug dealers, totally discrimination to both disturb inequality and to have amongst ourselves. It's absolute discrimination. You should feel like really disgusted of yourself. Really, really disgusted of yourself. What you could, what you could happen to someone's life. Indulging, making them drink more alcohol through cocaine substance. I've been part of this victimization in this community before, so that's why I'm saying it. We've all grown up, we've all been through bad society, sociological change. That's what I talk about a lot, isn't it? Being brought up in different environments, suburban areas. I can hold my head high now and say I'm totally against discrimination and realise my own life I could have been at risk the whole time. If I could separate the good from the bad, I would. I'd put you all in a separate bubble. Dealers who are part of this ongoing system, I wish you the worst deflect to society. I predict rain and thunder and dark lonely nights. What a disgrace of a human race. This is, I'm not trying to write you off, but this is to make you think, make you wise up to realise what you're doing to society. Also, guys, a lot of people are protesting as well. A lot of people are protesting. How do you know this COVID-19 ain't a serious thing? I've seen a few friends. I'm not like I say, I'm standing on eggshells. I don't want to totally write these people off. They think they're doing something right for society. If COVID-19 is true and one of your family members die of COVID-19, you see the care homes at high risk. Care homes at high risk, vulnerable people at high risk of COVID-19, such as myself. So if I go into a shop and after these people have been protesting and I bump into a supermarket assistant and they've got COVID-19 due to your stupidity, we could be missing bonfire night and fireworks just for your protesting skills. The kids are looking forward to Santa Claus activities outside. This year we're not going to have it because these protest people being stupid. The more stupid people get, the more it's going to be shut down. And the more we're going to be resent from these activities happening over Christmas. In 37 years anyway, for me, I won't miss these activities because, cold weather permitting secondary Raynaud's disease. Never in my life have I enjoyed the outdoor celebrations of the festive seasons. This year will probably be my best as I won't get dragged out in the cold weather. And I will thank UK Parliament because, we're still getting supported. I won't discriminate them. I won't go to protest against them because they're still making us furloughed off. They're still helping us. We've got a government that helps our society, so why would you argue against and go to protests? So many complaining, but realistically, do your kids enjoy the winter? Adults want to take their kids to go and see Santa Claus out in the cold, but realistically, do your kids really want to go and stand in the queue for hours? They don't. Kids don't want to stand in the cold. They want to get their present off Santa, yeah, admittedly, but do they want to stand hour in queues? You can swap me for a Nigerian at winter month any day, but for now, it's good for me because I'm studying 24/7. I'm going to go for what I read earlier about the conspiracy theory of the coronavirus. Conspiracy theory or not, coronavirus, do you think it's worth risking it for vulnerable people within the UK going to these protests? So the media and the government tells us many have died or dying of COVID-19, especially in care homes. So the day which was yesterday, thousands got together in a protest in central London. My friend got his sporting event due to the risk of others. So, my friend was doing the boxing event in Clacton-on-Sea. He's raising money for the NHS. Good thing to do. He's a good soldier as well in the British Army, doing a good thing for the NHS. Someone said they was going to go to his event with COVID-19, so they shut the event down. What a shame. What a shame. And what an idiot that person was to ruin such a good cause. Cases rising, maybe this correspondence. Why we're not having Christmas Day this year, due to funny acts like this. Democracy knows best as usual. They think they do. Shop shut, no Christmas events or Santa Claus rides this year. To the inhumane idiots at that protest yesterday. Are these protest events worth it, or are they risky? Would you say? trying to fight for your freedom, trying to get your freedom back, do you think it's a good thing? Do you think you're doing a good thing in society going to these protests? That is the question. Anyway, some things you want to know about universal credit because we're all in a struggle. We're all going for the struggle. Not all of us are working. It's a hard time, hard situation. Things we need to know and things you can get to know. I can tell you where to look after. I look something very significant now. I think this would be very specific for the listeners. Give them an idea how to boost their income. They're struggling. We come through winter months. We're all struggling on universal credit, thinking how we can get by. We've got gas, we've got water, we've got global warming. Ain't gonna be so warm because coming into our winter months. How we can get through the day by day. How we can get through our day by day. It's something you need to know. It's important, so I'm going to give you the update. Thank you for supporting the show, Jordan. I really appreciate that. I've got some great friends and family and loved ones support me. I really appreciate you all coming through. Give me some acknowledgement. It means a lot, you know, because this is probably where I want to be, the face of the radio. Trying to get more people in to subscribe. That's the details of this media becomes a bit cheesy, doesn't it? When other listeners hearing, but it's very naive to a lot of us, this application, but others don't understand. So we're going to talk about universal credit boost for up to £405 a month from October. Here's how. I mean, you got parents, not just A&A parents, you got mothers and fathers. You got roast turkeys. Take good note. You can find this on the DWP website as well. The DWP has pledged more cash for people affected by the switchover from the government's old benefit structure to universal. Very significant information to pass over. Thousands of households which saw a huge drop in their income when they moved onto the government's new universal credit benefit system are in line for a potential £405 a month top up. From the month of October, it has been revealed. I'm going to talk about everyone's taste in politics after as well to give it, make it a bit more formidable. Eligible claimant of work and pensions has explained that additional money will come through the universal credit payment system into people's accounts and reported by Birmingham Live. Why is this happening? The rise is designed to bridge a gap between the old benefit structure and universal credit. Who was affected by the payment drop? The payment drop affected those who switched over to universal credit from income support, job seekers allowance, JSA, employment and support allowance, ESA, housing benefit, disability premium, which is nothing major, don't think. Saying that it's going a bit slow, but it's slow. The payment dropped, yeah. When removed from those benefits on you, and amount they received was far lower. Campaigners fought to get back the lost money from the DWP, agreed to give transitional payments. In an effort to make up a difference, Justin Thomason, and Minister of the State Department of Work and Pensions, has now issued a statement saying these transitional sums will now be added as part of the regular universal credit payouts starting from October the 8th. Problems with the universal credit switchover were first reported by Plymouth back in 2018. Clive Westall's personal independent payment was stopped as DWP transitioned his account over. He claimed the time he was living on partially fresh air and having to rely on handouts from his wife and Rose. His wife, December 2009. It's a survey you can fill out. Fill out your survey. Let us know what you think about the latest COVID restrictions. These people on universal credit, I mean, you haven't got enough money to go to these gatherings, have you? You haven't got enough money to go and be acting stupid in these protests. Is it such a bad thing? You wouldn't want to get involved in stupidity if you had extra money, would you? It's a good thing, and it's because there are vulnerable people that need extra nutrition to keep their needs. which I don't think a lot of these people look into your health system or your NHS card to see what you need to get by. That's a shame. But Christmas is coming up and people have families to support. So, you know, Lapland this Christmas might be different. That's all I can say. People ruined it, these protests. You can't enjoy the London in London this year, I don't think. It's going to be hard. All these gatherings that and go and see Santa Claus with kids ain't going to go and do it. All thanks to the nutters at these protests. He also had to turn to his severely ill mum for meals and feels ashamed about using a food bank. I'm over the moon. I've got all of £7.20, and that has got to last me until January 11th because of their silly assessment period, Richard said. Mr. Thompson told MPs that the DWP had already paid out 50 million to around 15,000 people who lost out when switching to Universal Credit. And the extra money is now to be built up into regular Universal Credit payouts, rather than claimants hoping to get paid manually in separate payouts by DWP staff. Mr. Thompson explained, on July 22nd of 2019, we laid legislation to provide additional financial support for the former SDP recipients who moved to Universal Credit account of charge in change of circumstances. As of January 17th, 2020, we paid over 15,000 people, totaling more than 51.5 million. Did you see that thing about, I don't know if you see that thing about Boris Johnson in the news? He might be able to afford a nanny. He might not be able to afford a nanny for his child to to go into work for his wife as well, I suppose. He might be able to afford it. I thought the guy was a multi-millionaire. Being a prime minister. So it goes to show they're not in a financial better position than a lot of us, are they? Being a prime minister doesn't always help. I think he's got other kids he's got to pay out for as well. So no one knows anyone's circumstances. We can assume that they've got loads of money. We can assume that they're millionaires. We can assume they can afford everything. But we don't know the actual real statistics behind his bank balance, do we? His financial status. We can't disencourage or disbelieve what is said in the media. Who can get universal credit? Whether you claim universal credit depends on your circumstances and where you live. Your circumstances, you can apply for universal credit if you're on low income or unemployed. Usually, you only usually be able to claim universal credit if you're aged 18 or over, but some people aged 16 or 17 can get it depending on their circumstances. Maybe you're a student living away from your parents and you need help. They do look into it. They look into supporting the younger generation if they need it for whatever reason, for whatever rich reason. Maybe their parents are ill and they can't afford to keep them. And you usually won't be able to claim universal credit if you're in full-time education or training, but people with certain circumstances can still apply. Read the detailed guidance on eligibility and universal credit and students to find out more. You can use benefits calculator to help you understand what benefits you can get. You will be asked to enter information about your circumstances and it will tell you which benefits you might be able to apply for. One of those might be universal credit. Check where you live as well, your constituency, where your nearest job centre is. I don't think you go into the job centre at the moment, fair of you. So I'm just giving you a bit of guidance for the DWP, universal credit claimants. Job seeker allowance is all in one thing now. I do give these updates on DWP quite often because it's beneficial and you know what you're getting, when and where and how. Because you might be entitled to more for whatever which reason, especially mothers and fathers with children. It's beneficial to give you update when and where needed because you might lose out. Hancock, Mr. Hancock, looks like Nicolas Cage, doesn't he? Mr. Hancock looks like Nicolas Cage, a movie star. Could he be Nicolas Cage double in Face Off? I reckon in Face Off, absolutely. Hancock, follow covered rules or they will get tougher. Hancock said, follow COVID rules or they get tougher. And absolutely, no one's following the COVID rules. They're going bizarre. COVID restrictions in England will get tougher if rules are not followed. Matt Hancock has warned, as the government introduces £10,000 fine for people who fail to self-isolate. How can they catch all them people that protest? Will it happen? Who are these people that, start the protests? I mean, the people that are doing the activities in the street, they're the ones that they should find first. Because they're obviously the ones that must be, they must be the ones that are sort of organising these events. I'll do a funny act inside, the big protest. They've got all these things going on, people putting acts on and being stupid, trying to give the act of God, the act of the Bible, not realising the Bible, not realising the preaching the word of Jesus and preaching the word of the government should stick together, shouldn't go against. It's Satan. Satan worshipping against purity with Jesus' rights, I'd say, more than anything else. They work together, they don't work against. Although everyone makes mistakes in life. Jesus made a mistake in life. He married, what's her name? Madeline. Was it Mary Madeline? We all know that story behind her as well. So no one's perfect. Everyone makes a slight mistake, a slight error. They can't be absolute full perfectionist. So he's there to, the guidance there to let you know if you made a mistake in life, you can imperfect your imperfection to a perfectionist. The Health Secretary told the BBC Andrew Marr show the country was facing a tipping point and we have a choice. If everybody follows the rules, then we can avoid a further national lockdown. The Prime Minister is understood to be considering a ban on household mixing and reduce open hours for pubs. Asked if England could face other national lockdown, Mr Hancock said, I don't rule it out. I don't want to see it. In the BBC interview, he was also said he would call the police on people who refuse to self-isolate. Let me just reframe myself. Obviously, in the English Testament, it's a bit slightly different to how the Muslim culture teach their children. They try and teach their children Jesus is nothing but an imperfectionist, but a perfectionist. He wasn't. There wasn't a mother Mary. There wasn't a mother Mary because for one she'd have been stoned to death because he was a perfectionist, and that's the way they teach their culture, so their children don't play up. So you can't discriminate their culture, their way of thinking, the way of educating their children. Denied the government was overacting, given deaths and hospital admission remain relatively low. Said there was still hope a vaccine would get over the line this year. The move under consideration by Prime Minister Boris Johnson could take the form of a 2-week mini lockdown in England, being referred to as a circuit breaker, in an aim to stem a recent surge in cases. On Saturday, a further 4,422 new COVID-19 cases and 27 deaths were reported in the UK. People in England who refuse an order to self-isolate could be fined up to 10,000 from September 28th. What about them protests yesterday? How many people convicted COVID then? The new legal duty requires people to self-isolate if they positive for coronavirus or are traced as a close contact. New measures also include a one-off £400 support payment for those lower incomes and plenty of employers who punish those to self-isolate. Fines will initially start at 1,000, rising to 10,000 to repeat offenders and for most egregious breaches. Until now, advice to self-isolate has been guidance only. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said, we need to do all we can to control the spread of coronavirus, to prevent the most vulnerable people from becoming infected and to protect the NHS and save lives. Protect the NHS. We want to protect the NHS workers more than protect, others in the hospital as well. That's how you want to look at it. They're trying to save our lives, but yet the people in there getting COVID could be these protesters, or it could be these vulnerable people looked after by idiots protesting. How do you know? Really need to think outside the box. It's like when you wear your mask, you wash your hands. Don't wear your mask or wash your hands for the sake of your health. wear your mask, wash your hands for the sake of other lives. Do you know what I mean? That makes more sense, doesn't it? I mean, there are some people who are exempt for obvious reasons, so that's not even compatible for them. But for the people, there's nothing wrong with them. They can breathe unaided and quite freely. They're strong, healthy. Put your COVID mask on. Wash your hands. More than 19,000 fines have been issued in England and Wales for alleged breaches of coronavirus laws. The Attorney General said earlier this week, but more than half have not been paid so far. Earlier this week, Boris Johnson told The Sun he had never much been in favour of the sneak culture myself, and people should speak to COVID rules breakers before reporting them to the police. In contrast, Mr. Hancock said he could call the police on his neighbour if they were breaking rules, saying it was absolutely necessary to break the chain of transmission. We need to inform, family, friends, relations, to say, don't even warrant a party for any existing birthdays, weddings, a funeral. Don't go to a gathering. Talk over the phone. You got social media. Do a video call. Sad times, but you got to get through. You got to get through life. Otherwise, you will be going down the same aisle, speaking to your vicar about your next burial. Think wisely. Think first. Think safety. And not only putting your own life at risk, you're putting the kids around you if you've got children, niece or nephew. Asked whether the government's response was an overreaction, given the coronavirus death rates were still low. Mr. Hancock said the number of hospitals admissions was rising and an increase in deaths would follow. He said he was very worried, and the latest data, which suggested the UK could be on the same path as Spain and France, where deaths and hospitalisations are increasing without effective action. I am very worried about the second wave. We've seen in other countries when the case rate shoots up. The next thing that happens is the numbers going into hospital shoot up, he said. Sadly, we've seen that rise. It is doubting every 8 days or so. People going into hospital, then, with a lag, you see a number of people dying sadly rise. Currently, large swathes of the UK where cases have spiked are living under tighter local restrictions. London Mayor Sadiq Khan has warned London could be next. Mr. Hancock, who has spoken to the mayor this weekend, told Times Radio he would not rule out a possibility that Londoners could be told this week to avoid the commute and get back to work from home. Wouldn't surprise him at all. Mr. Hancock said he remained hopeful that vaccine would be ready before the end of the year. We have got the cavalry coming over the next few months, the vaccine, the mass testing and the improvements in treatments, but we have got to follow the rules between now and then to keep people safe, he added. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer told the BBC he supported the new fines, saying it was important to take action against a few people who are not complying. He also said he would back a future lockdown in order to reinforce the government's message. In the end, this is not about party politics. It's about getting a nation through the virus, he added. It's important to follow guidelines, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. At a glance, what are the new rules? People in England who are told to self-isolate by the NHS test and trace face fines of 1,000 up to 10,000 for the worst offenders if they fail to do so. This includes those who test positive and those identified as close contacts on confirmed cases. So if you're fined up to £1,000, £10,000 fine, this Christmas, you're getting all your presents for your kids, getting a knock on the door, debt collectors, you haven't paid your fine. That your kids' Christmas presents get taken, your TV gets taken, just because you haven't paid your fine, just because you acted stupid and you went to a protest, or you went to a local gathering. So think first, think safely, think about your actions. It also includes employers who are forced to ignore others and self-isolate. NHS Test and Trace will make regular contact with those isolated to check compliance. The measures apply from 28th of September and were enforced by police and local authorities. Those in receipt of benefits are low income and who cannot work from home may receive a £500 one-off payment if self-isolating. These are additional rules, Parliament is absolute sovereignty. They have the last say. So many people ignoring. They're making it exempt that they're even looking at it. They're making exempt that it's total ignorance to do their own thing, to put others at risk. They will pay the consequences in the end. The UK government hopes the new fines will be replicated in Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland, which all have powers to set their own coronavirus rules. There's cameras up everywhere, every town, every bus, every train. You get on the motorway, you've got cameras looking at your registration going through. So if you're up to no good, they're going to find out and you're going to get slapped on the wrist. Simple as that. You get these fines, you soon could lose your car in your driveway. Trust me, I know. I know full well what happens. When you got debt collectors come after, they will take your car, they put it on a high ab and take it. And your 10 grand, that could be your new BMW, could be your Merc. No one's untouchable in this world, unless you're exempt through some sort of severe disability or whatever. I'm just being totally honest. People that think they're clever in a business, think they can do as they please, acting up on social media is the worst thing because they will clamp down on you. Those attracting the highest penalties are described as including those who stop others from self-isolating, such as employers who insist staff to work in violation of an order. Officials said NHS Test and Trace would be in regular contact with individuals told to self-isolate and would report any suspicion that people were not complying with police and local authorities. Police will also check compliance in COVID-19 hotspots and among groups considered to be high risk, as well as following up reports from a public of people who have tested positive but are not self-isolating. Prosecution could follow in high-profile, egregious cases of non-compliance. I'm gonna knock that in the head, knock that politics in the head. I'm gonna talk about sociological change. I'm gonna talk about masculine men, well, men and females. Men and females. Are we different species? Are we a different nature? The way we think, the way we act. I mean, a lot of women say, no, men are worse than women. A lot of men will say, women are worse than men. We think the same. We all act the same. There's nothing different between our way of thinking. All made up of the same thing. The only thing that's different between men and women, a man has to be a bit more subtle around a woman and the way he thinks when it comes to arguments because of domestic laws, domestic, abuse and stuff and such. Just because a man's got a masculine voice, his masculine voice, if shouted upon at a woman, will get heard before a woman screaming at a man because, an audience will laugh at a woman shouting at a man because a woman hasn't got an Adam's apple. A man has got a deeper voice. That's one difference. Also, when it comes to control in a household, you ladies might vouch for my ideas. You men might vouch for my ideas as well. You're watching TV. A man, let's think what a man watches compared to what a woman watches on TV. How much the control of TV remote, for instance. This relates to all of us. So I really want you to be encouraged by this. You're sitting there, the woman will read the magazine, see what's on TV. Now TV, perhaps, that magazine. They look for their soaps, their programs, their reality TV shows. A man's not really interested in none of it. A man's not really interested in any of it. Unless he's got, the latest top football star in there or something. But it's usually not a roundup of good things that men like. Men like things like Top Gear, fishing channels, like boxing, football. They're not on every day of the week. Boxing, football's not every day. It's a weekend activity. Maybe Formula One. Only World Cups on when it's on it. When World Cups comes on, that causes merry hell in the household, doesn't it? Because World Cups on every day. Their programs are on it every day of the week. Every single day of the week. So the TV box, in reality, is a woman's TV. It's a woman's TV. A woman would not, if you bought Box Nation, perhaps, A woman would not let you sit there and watch Box Nation every single day on a TV box. I was reading, I'm reading Sociological Change in Churchill's household, the way he had it developed. You know, he's got a big dining room. He's got his dining table, a massive separate space for his settee and his TV. One TV in the whole household. Then got one in the bedrooms, in the kids' bedrooms or whatever. It's in the front room, so they all sit down and watch TV as a family. He was out working most of the time. But you know, just different things I want to bring, you know, interact with the show, different ideas. Oh, I had another one as well, another thing I want to talk about. So this morning you got up. I mean, we all get up in the morning, don't we? You think about getting ready, don't you? You I don't know if you go to sleep in your boxes, your bed clothes or whatever. Or your, you know, ladies in your underwear, knickers and bra or whatever. You get up in the morning, get ready. So you got your blouse, you got your I say you got your blouse, you got your shoes, like your working shoes, you're going to work in office. And men, you're going to put your chino trousers on and your shirt. Well, you got them on. So the next thing is you can get your socks on. You get your socks on, don't you? Be honest now. Like, you know, I don't know, you don't have to interact, but be honest. You get your socks on out your drawer, you sit down. You put them on, don't you? You put your socks on. You sit down, put your socks on. The critical thinking. You put your socks on, you sit down, you got your clothes on, you sit down, you put your socks on. Really good critical thinking. You think, yeah, I've got my socks on. So you sat down. You know, our back aches in the mornings, but getting damp, isn't it? It's getting cold, but it's getting towards winter now, so we're getting damp in the mornings. Got your socks on. Looking down, you're thinking, so like in mornings, we think, oh, I've got to go out, I'm tired, I can't bother this sort of day. You sat down, put your socks on. Oh, God's sake, I really got to get out. You keep thinking about getting up again. And what have you forgot before you get up? Your shoes. You forgot to put your shoes on. Why don't you get your socks and the shoes at the same time, then sit down, so you get up twice? There you go. That's my critical thinking. Do you know why I do my critical thinking every now and then? Because I'm sick of these people playing riddles on Facebook. I thought that made good sense. Hi, Jen. Hope you're doing well, girl. Nice to see you on my YouTube. Yeah, very well, thank you. Hope it's all well and safe over Canada, and hope your family's all good. Nice to see you come through. Really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm on. Did you pop in my cast box as well? Or did you just come straight on here? Thank you for coming through. It's nice that you coming through on my YouTube. Appreciate it. Everyone else is listening, guys. Thank you so much. Oh, that's great, Jen. I'm glad it's all good over there. All family, as you're little and been in hospital and stuff, all good. Oh, that's nice to see on YouTube. Thank you. Yeah, when I'm out doing my journalism, I can't obviously see the message. I see when I come off just quickly. I was almost ready to come off, but as you come through, I thought I'd interact with you. I'm glad you're good though. I'll catch up with you on Castbox sometime, Jen. I'm so glad he's doing well. You went for a bit of a nightmare turn there, didn't you? But I'm so glad he's in safe hands with his wonderful mother and father. Best wishes to my lovely Canadian friend, as always. But Jen, I'm going to have to love you and leave. I've got my cousin coming over. Have a wonderful day. Send love to your husband and your little one, and hope we can catch up on Castbox, girl. I might be on later, so if you're about later, pop by and come say hello. Thank you everyone for listening on YouTube. Thank you, Jen, for coming to support me. Thank you everyone else on social media. Castbox, everyone. I'll speak soon. Have a lovely day. Blessed Sunday, always, Jen. You love your the most pleasant, blessed lady in the universe. Take care. Speak soon.